Every warrior's tale starts right here, at the beginning. We've received our invitation to prove our merit on the battlefield. Armed with strategy, skill, and just a dash of trickery, we're destined to dance with foes in a bout of electrifying moves, nail-biting predictions, and most dauntingly, attrition. I consider myself to be the best VGC player to never win anything, and that's simply because I've never participated in anything. Today, I bring you the tale of a young trainer who is finally set to take his first steps into his journey of becoming champion of not only his region, but the world. Just at 32 years old instead of 10, but hey, better late than never. First off, let me show you the soldiers that will be joining me on the front lines. So here is our team. We will be participating in the Grand Challenge 1, which uses the Regulation H rule set. Now, what does Regulation H mean? That means we will be participating in 4v4 double battles that will not include any special Pokemon. So that includes your sub-legendaries, your legendaries, mythicals, paradox, anything that you would assume to be at a higher level than the normal Pokemon you catch throughout the game. What is the theme of our team? Well, as briefly mentioned earlier, Trick Room. And who does this team consist of? Well, first up, we have Indeedee female. Armed with the Focus Sash, Grass Terra, and Psychic Surge, it knows moves such as Trick Room, Follow Me, Helping Hand, and Psychic. And if you've ever heard of the Battle Mercy in Overwatch, this Indeedee is also built to fight its own fights. With special attack EVs maxed out, along with its HP, it can withstand the test of time with moves like Follow Me, while dishing out its own damage with Psychic. Its premier partner being Armarouge, armed with the Psychic Seed item, which will give it a 1.5x boost in special defense inside of Psychic terrain, the Flash Fire ability, Grass Terra type, and moves like Trick Room, Wide Guard, Expanding Force, and Armor Cannon. This thing is built to go fast, not built to last. HP 228 EVs, 28 into the defense, and then maxed out special attacking EVs. Next up is perhaps our unsung hero who you will see throughout the tournament. Maybe should get a bit more recognition on my team than he currently does, that being Torkoal. Armed with the Charcoal item that will raise fire attack moves, the ability Drought, which will set the sun for 5 turns, Fire type Terra to boost those fire type moves, and moves such as Protect, Eruption, Heat Wave, and Solar Beam. The EV spread on this one is simple: keep that HP high and keep that special attack higher. Next up, we need a bit on the physical side, so we decided to bring Ursaluna, armed with the Flame Orb item that will burn it after 1 turn, and the Guts ability that will make use of that very burn. It touts moves such as Protect, Facade, Headlong Rush, and Earthquake. And this thing is built to last as well as built to mash. With 252 EVs into the attack, its HP sees 140, defense 44, and special defense 68, making sure that it can withstand some of the hardest hitting moves from the Pokemon in this regulation. Number 5 on our roster, but perhaps number 1 in our hearts, is Pelipper. With the Safety Goggles item, the Keen Eye ability, the Water type Terra, and moves such as Protect, Wide Guard, Weather Ball, and Hurricane. It has 252 health EVs to stay alive as long as possible, along with 68 EVs into its defense, 148 into its special defense, and 36 into its special attack to deal out good chip damage where we needed to, but mostly to protect our teammates with the use of Weather and Wide Guard. And last but certainly not least, Hatterene. With the Life Orb item, the Water Terra to protect against Steel type moves, the Magic Bounce ability, and the moves Protect, Trick Room, Dazzling Gleam, and Expanding Force, this Pokemon is meant to withstand most hits, certainly not all of them, but the big to-do are those Expanding Force and Dazzling Gleam moves, especially inside of that Psychic terrain. With 212 HP EVs, 100 into the defense, and 196 into the special attack. Now, the theme of this team is pretty simple: get Trick Room up and get moving as fast as possible. As the general of this army, I feel safe in saying I've assembled the most skillful, devastating, and efficient forces this regulation has ever seen. Will it be enough to keep me undefeated in competitive play? Or is everything I've dreamed of going to become a nightmare? Let's find out. Now, to briefly explain how this is going to work, I will not be showing the entirety of every single battle. I'm going to show the first 2 battles in their entirety so you can see how the battles are done and the general flow of this team. After that, we'll just be showing clips and highlights so you don't have to age a few years watching the full roughly 6 hours that these battles took to do. All right, let's see what our lead here is. They are going to come out with the Dragonite and the Ninetales. The Ninetales is almost assuredly going to try and set up Aurora Veil, which would have all of my damage, but it only works in hail or snow. So my best play is very likely to... Armor is just going to come out for the Torkoal. And Indeedee is going to be our Trick Room setter to this game. A bit different than how I usually tend to run this, but we'll see how it goes. They did withdraw Dragonite, which makes me feel really good about being able to survive a full complement of hits here. Although I do now wish I would have retracted Indeedee because I could just immediately come back in and set the Psychic Terrain back up. So I don't get faked out next turn, but that's okay. So this next coming turn, if they try to set Aurora Veil, it's going to fail now because I have Drought. But they can fake me out, which is almost certainly going to go into the Torkoal. Because there's no reason that it shouldn't. I think we're going to protect to just avoid the chip damage and keep Eruption at its full complement. And then maybe just put on a massive amount of pressure with these 2. I think I don't hate that idea. All right, how are we doing now? I think if you're in one of... Yeah. All right. So they do withdraw the Ninetales to maybe help reset the hail, but that's okay because that doesn't lower my ability to produce physical attacks. They're tearing the Rillaboom, so probably into a water type if I had to guess. Maybe a fire type. So it would be a bit of a wasted turn, but I could even next turn bring Indeedee back out and Expanding Force and maybe knock the Rillaboom out, although that's asking a lot. It did use high horsepower, but into the Protect, and now I know what it's going for here. I can switch into Indeedee here. And rip in Expanding Force to try and do as much as possible to the Rillaboom, and it should also still do a fun chunk to the Dragonite. Dazzling Gleam does more, but it won't do nearly as much to the Rillaboom. I don't think this ends up killing the Rillaboom, but I kind of need it to almost. Not need it to, but... Siro, welcome in! Sirach on the ice. Neat, dirty, however you want it, baby. How we doing today? Okay. So Psychic Surge is back up, so my Expanding Force is going to hit both of them now and be stronger. Dragonite does use Protect, so that's okay. We don't get to take away the multi-scale. But Expanding Force... Did the Rillaboom use Protect, or... No, it didn't. Okay, so we should still whack him pretty good. Not a kill, but that's okay. So probably a Wood Hammer into Indeedee, maybe, or a high horsepower into Indeedee, rather. Thinking that was going to be the Torkoal spot. 2 turns of Trick Room left. So at least one of these I get damage off, right? So I think if we Helping Hand, because even if he removes Rillaboom, I'm still going to get to attack within the Psychic Terrain for 1 turn. So I think that's just what we go with. We just put on as much offensive pressure as we possibly can. He does leave the Dragonite in, which makes me wonder what he's going to try and do with it. I wonder if Helping Hand Dazzling Gleam would have gotten the kill on Rillaboom, because it certainly would have on the Dragonite at that point. Well, maybe not certainly. Because Expanding Force is a really strong attack inside of Psychic Terrain. It would have been close. Scale Shot on Indeedee is going to make it faster with less defense, and it's going to... I mean, it being faster was already going to be a thing outside of Trick Room, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I think we can get super ballsy here and double up on Trick Room and reset it. But I think we're just going to try and double up here. Because I think he's going to Protect. He does. He does. I don't think he has a way of knocking out Hatteran with just the Ninetales. I think he's going to want to set up Aurora Veil, which he doesn't. Doesn't kill. No freeze. No freeze. And we get Trick Room back to 5 turns. That Dragonite is fucked. Okay, huge. huge. Big. It's so big in here. There's so much room. That would mean it's small. There's not enough room. Is my play here, right? 2 expanding forces. He's already used his Terra. He can't do anything about this. He can't do anything about this. Focus Sash on a Ninetales, huh? I don't hate it. But I am all but guaranteed to be slower. And in this case, in Trick Room, faster. And just like that, with 3 more turns left in the Room of Tricks, we are at a 3-1 advantage. Fine. Fine, it's fine, it's fine. I did not hit Protect. I did not hit Protect. But that's okay, because if he... oh, he protected, so it actually doesn't matter. Bree, welcome in! That blunder would have never mattered, because even if he used Make It Rain, I would have preferred that my Indeedee not die anyway. What I probably should have done is just switch out to Torkoal, making this turn an automatic victory. But in theory, it should still be anyway. We're going to use Expanding Force because it is not a... Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, either one of these is of equal value this turn. But the Armor Cannon is the to-do here. And with that much damage done by Expanding Force, as long as I hit... Ah! Clapping metallic cheeks! Ladies and gentlemen, my first official VGC battle. He's OP. P. Yeah, you know me. Fuck with your boy. 1-0. And what's that rating gonna jump to? 1-0. Was there any other way for this fairy tale to begin when I'm the Prince Charming? You're dealing with a fountain overflowing with delusional confidence. But we've all heard the phrase, you've won the battle, but can you win the war? 1 game out of 45 down. Surely I can't stay undefeated forever. Or can I? Of course not. But I may have been a bit misleading with the mission. Of course I want to stay completely undefeated and go 45-0, but that's just not realistic. Look at all of the best to ever do it. They've all taken a set loss here and there, or at least a 1-game loss in a 3-game series. But the overall goal remains the same. Win that title. What does that mean to us? Number 1 overall would be the bow on top of the gift that is getting to play a child's creature collector for minuscule internet fame and glory. Shout out to Pokemon Stadium Speedrunning for making me believe any number 1 spot is achievable with just 2 or 3 weeks of work. But we want championship points, plain and simple. That means we need to come in the top 1,024 spots. Now sure, that may seem like a layup or a weak goal to have, but to that I say, hey, random internet commenter. Hard game, hard, man. Top 1,000 seems very attainable, but that's with every trainer in my region battling for those same spots, from ex-champions to newcomers. Where do I find my place in the scene? Well, enjoy the battles, and let's find out. also just woke up from a nap before this. I was so tired after work. I slammed like a hour-long nap right before doing these, so hopefully that doesn't mean I end up dropping a game or two because of it. Okay, Calm Mind it's not scary by any means, but I don't love it, if I'm being truthful. Terragrass, rip into the Ursaluna, and then you switch into you. But I need to quit talking so much during my turns and actually just think. Okay, so that saw that coming a mile away. Wait, did I not switch? Please tell me I didn't use Trick Room again. What happened? Did I run out of time? What happened? I must have. It's either I misclicked or I ran out of time, because if you run out of time, it just picks the first move in your slot. How did I do that? You know what, though? We might be able to make this become something. We're 9-6 because the game decided that I didn't hit the button in time when I did. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click, click. It didn't hit 0. I hit the thing. I switched. And before it hit 0, I switched. That's all you can call it, man. But that just means we have to have a really good day, too. We're gonna do one more battle, win or lose. And I'm just gonna pretend like I'm not streaming. And you guys are just gonna get to enjoy the experience. And I'll see you guys after this fight. Down. 18-12 is our record. We saw the good, the bad, and the downright nonsense of Nintendo servers not knowing how to tell time. There's one thing wrong, though. Number 1354. How? I've prepared for this tournament for such a long time, putting countless hours of preparation and training sessions in with this team. Now going into the final day, I'm out of the top 1,024 spots. Maybe my dreams could be chalked up to being exactly that. Hopeful ideals of a world where as long as I try, I'll get what I want. But that's not how the real world works, though. So day 3 was time to put my nose past to the grindstone and prove that I belong in this scene. I did some quick calculations, and for a man who failed out of college on multiple occasions, they were shockingly correct. I needed to go 10-5 on day 3 to have a chance at staying among the Elite 4. Well, the Elite 10-24 anyway, and gain my first set of championship points towards qualifying for Worlds this year. Here I am, with a 26-17 record, having gone 8-5 so far on day 3. The title, or in this case championship points, are like a sweet pie cooling on the window ledge, seducing my every sense to come and take it. Less than 100 trainers stand between me and my goal. I've competed in countless feats of intelligence and athleticism in my time on this earth. I've seen the highest of highs. I brought myself to the lowest of lows. This is my first attempt to prove not only to the scene, but to myself that this is something I can achieve, and I'll be damned if I let this slip through my fingertips. The clock is ticking. Can this Cinderella story have its happy ending? Will I become the most beautiful girl at the ball, or will I turn into a pumpkaboo when the clock strikes midnight? Here is the last battle I ended up having time for within the time constraints of the tournament. Win, and I'll paint my own portrait on the wall of winners. Lose, and well, let's not even get into it. Here we go.
Truth be told, I think Ursaluna might have been a better choice than Hatteran in this one, but we were a bit pressed for choice and obviously time. I think this should be fine. This is gonna be a hard team to crack, though. I won't lie. This team is built pretty well to withstand 5 turns in Trick Room, if not prefer it itself. So we're just gonna have to see here. Fix the green screen as to not break the immersion. Okay, this is why I thought Hatteran might be better to bring out first, because of that magic bounce ability, being able to stop Spore from doing anything. We do have Terra Grass on both of these Pokemon, though, so we should be able to deal out a good little bit of damage here. But is that going to be enough to matter? Because I think what I can get away with on turn 1 here is maybe even... Is that a Rongaroo? Is curious, because I think it can learn Expanding Force. And it can. But that's not going to do a ton to us if we're being honest here. That wide guard looks a little scary. So let's expanding force into you. Terra Grass to avoid being put to sleep and follow me on this end just in case that spore is going to come out. I think a lot is going to be determined on this turn, which I've said a lot, but you know, my team depends a lot on getting out on the front foot pretty quickly, and this combination on the other end is not going to make that easy. But we should be okay as long as this turn plays out how I'm kind of hoping it will. So it does go for the spore into the grass type, which means it's not going to work. I'm going to get this free shot off, which is a beautiful thing for us. And it didn't even have a focus sash. That's actually gargantuan. So depending on what this Orangaru is about to do, even if it is about to use Trick Room potentially, that probably means that Torkoal is coming out. Which, I mean, realistically, even if it is, I have Flash Fire Armarouge. That's not going to do a whole lot to me. It's not. It's the Ursaluna. So that's honestly just as well. Orangaru, I believe, should be slow. No, it's faster than the Ursaluna. So what might happen here is something in the realm of Hyper Voice into Instruct, which would make it happen again. That wouldn't be ideal. I think what I can do to mitigate that is Wide Guard, but I don't know. Because it could also Blood Moon my Indeedee. It could Earth Power my Armarouge. I think we're going to lean into the idea that it's going to try and double Hyper Voice, though. And then we're going to go into Psychic onto it and just hope to get some chunk damage. I think this is about to be a Hyper Voice if he Terra Normals. And if so, then we just gained ourselves a free turn. It is Terra Normal, so unless he tries to Blood Moon my Armarouge, which there's no real reason to do that. There's no real reason to do that. Especially after seeing me use Follow Me on turn 1. Blood Moon, if it goes into Armarouge, I'm going to be a little upset with myself, but that's okay. Because we did, in fact, use... Oh, it went to Indeedee. Okay, so that's actually kind of fine, too, because we will be able to get off our Focus Sash here. It all depends on who the next one to go is. It's going to be that Instruct into another Blood Moon. Going into the Indeedee was curious here because I could have just ripped another Expanding Force. But truth be told, that's okay. Because now we know that he cannot use that next turn. And what we're about to bring out is going to be way slower than anything on the field. That's an interesting play by them. Double Blood Moon into the Indeedee. I could have... They saw Expanding Force sitting right in the face there, so I wonder what the plan there... I wonder what the plan there was. Now, we have already used our Terra with Indeedee to avoid getting spored on turn 1, so we're not a sitting duck by any means, but... And he saw me use Wide Guard, so what would be the point in using Hyper Voice? Earth Power, there's 2 fire types on the field, so you would think they go for that? But it'll be curious to see, won't it? This will be an interesting turn. This will be an interesting turn because I think this is the best move. I don't think they should probably... Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really see a realm where they go for Hyper Voice here. Or, yeah, where they go for Hyper Voice here. So it's going to get blocked by the Ursaluna, but... Monkey Man is going to take a hit here and does not go down, which means he's probably going to get an attack off on Torkoal, which is going to hurt us a lot if I'm being truthful. That does weaken my Eruption by a fun little bit. It's hardly the worst thing that could have happened, but it certainly puts us in a slight bit of a bad spot. Especially if the thing sitting in the back is their own Torkoal. It sounds like a Torkoal name. And indeed it is. Okay, so there's 2 Torkoals sitting on the field now. I do have Flash Fire, so it wouldn't be in their best interest. It's probably going to be something like an Earth Power from the Torkoal onto mine and then a Blood Moon into the Armarouge. The Armarouge does have a special defense buff though, so I'm not sure that one attack alone will be able to kill it. So if we Expanding Force... It will hit, well, would be able to hit both of them. Same thing with Eruption. Take some chunk damage off of that Torkoal. One of these should be able to hit. Because even if their Torkoal Although it could be Earth Power from the Ursaluna, but still, I think they cannot take out Armarouge unless they hit him with both attacks. So that's going to be almost enough to take our Torkoal out. This is at least going to break potential Focus Sashes. I don't know if that would have mattered, but it definitely doesn't hurt. This shouldn't kill. Okay, that special defense buff we take at the beginning with the Psychic Seed was actually gargantuan here because this is going to chunk both of them. That Heat Wave is still a little scary. I wonder if I get away with a wide guard here with him trying to go for the double KO, and then we can get our own Earth Power off into the Ursaluna. Hell, we could even do a Solar Beam because we're still in the sun, right? Yeah, and that'll do more damage potentially. But I think if we wide guard here, I mean, honestly, I could just go into the Torkoal and guarantee it, right? Because how many turns of Trick Room are left? Oh, this is it. So wide guard, Solar Beam. Now that means that his Ursaluna did not use Protect. So if this is a Heat Wave, we are going to take the Ursaluna out. Oh, that's right. The Speed Tie does come into effect. So I probably could have even gotten away with just using Expanding Force, but that's okay. That is very okay. So the Ursaluna is now down. That does mean that both of our Torkoals were speed tied at perfectly 0 EVs, IVs. The Heat Wave is not going to hit anything. And now Trick Room is up, meaning that my Armarouge is out and out faster than their Torkoal, giving us the win. Let's go! Okay. Through trials and tribulations, through battling not only other trainers, but my own mental state as I strived for even the edge of glory, here is our final ranking. Number 797, meaning that I am no longer the greatest VGC player to never win anything, and it does mean I stayed undefeated in my competitive career. Yes, I understand that 797 means that in my region alone, there were 796 trainers better than me. But like I said earlier, the goal was to gain any points on my first step into the marathon that will be trying to qualify for Worlds this year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the battles, and hopefully this video gives you even the smallest view into the world of preparing for and competing in competitions. Feel free to leave a comment with what you would change in my team or what team you would use for this regulation. Thank you for rocking with me. Love you all, and we'll see you guys next time.